What a great day. Let me first of all thank our great Dorothy McAuliffe for being such a great First Lady. 13 million more meals served to needy children when she was First Lady. I thank Dorothy for that. Let me first of all, I'd like to thank our great Chairwoman Susan Schwecker for the great work she's doing, Congressman Don Beyer, our great Speaker Eileen Filler-Corn, our Majority Leader Charnel Herring for the great work they've done. And I also want to thank the great chair of my campaign, Louise Lucas, the Senate Pro Tem, who's done a great job for the Commonwealth of Virginia. And I do want to say this now, on behalf of all of us, I want to give a great shout and a great offer of thanks to our great governor and First Lady Pam Northam. Ralph, thank you for everything you have done for the Commonwealth of Virginia. And a huge thank you to our Democratic ticket. We have our delegate and our next lieutenant governor, the first woman lieutenant governor in Virginia history, right over here. Holla! And we've got with her our great Attorney General, who's going to come back to make sure he's defending us and keeping Virginia moving forward. I thank Mark for your leadership. Virginia Democrats are really going to deliver for our Commonwealth with this amazing team that we have in place. But let me say to all of you here today, I want to say thank you. I can't think of a better place to be on this beautiful evening than right here with our President, Joe Biden. Let me just say this. It is amazing how far Virginia has come over the course of the last 8 years. I remind everybody in this audience, when we took office in 2013, we were facing the most anti-women, anti-gay, anti-environment, pro-gun legislation in the United States of America. We inherited an economy that was in crisis. Now, we've made great strides since then, but Virginia has big challenges ahead of it. It's going to take clear plans and experienced leadership to move Virginia forward and to lift all Virginians up. That is exactly what I did as your 72nd governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, and it's exactly what I'm going to do as the 74th governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. As governor, I woke up every single day trying to make life better for all Virginians. We created 200,000 new jobs, 100,000, think about it, all these people going to work, 1,100 new economic development projects, 20 billion of new capital, and personal income went up by 14% when I was governor. And I am very proud that unemployment dropped from 5.8 down to 3.3% when I was governor. And I am proud that unemployment dropped in every city and county in the Commonwealth of Virginia. In our rural communities, most of those communities saw unemployment drop by nearly 50%. Now, many of these counties, as you know, are the most Republican counties in the state. But that didn't matter to me. I was willing to work with reasonable Republicans to bring jobs to every single corner of this Commonwealth. We leaned in on clean energy to tackle climate change and create jobs of the 21st century. We invested in education, expanding pre-K to thousands of our children here in Virginia. And speaking of education, I would like to give a shout out to the best professor we have at Northern Virginia Community College, our own Dr. Jill Biden. And she's doing a great job right now representing our country at the Olympics. But folks, working together, we came so far, but we have a long way to go. COVID has been so tough for so many families. Lifting Virginia out of this pandemic, we must take this opportunity to build a stronger Virginia where every single Virginian can thrive. I think you deserve to know where I stand on the issues. And that's why I have released 140 pages of very detailed policy plans so that you know exactly what I will do as governor. By working together again, we can and we will, and I promise you, we will create thousands of new high-paying jobs here in Virginia. I promise all of you, we will make sure Virginians have great pay and benefits, and we are going to get paid sick days here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And we're going to get family medical leave here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And I promise you, I will raise the minimum wage to $15 within the next 3 years. We will reduce health care costs. And that starts with taking on the drug companies who have raised prices. Think of this. During the pandemic, they've raised prices on over 1,000 drugs during this pandemic. I'll renegotiate, and I'll get lower prices. I'll create a sunlight law to expose unfair price increases. I promise you this, I will not allow or tolerate pharmaceutical companies coming into Virginia and ripping off our citizens. I'll hold them accountable. And I promise you, I will invest a record $2 billion in education. My plan will lift up every child all across Virginia by focusing on preparing our students for the jobs of the 21st century. And I promise you this, I will raise the teacher pay above the national average for the first time in Virginia history. And I promise you as governor, I will get broadband access to every single Virginia home. Folks, that's why I'm running for governor. I'm running for you. My opponent, Glenn Youngkin, well, he's not running for you. He's running for Donald Trump. Folks, don't take my word for it. Glenn has said so himself. Glenn Youngkin has said, and this is a direct quote, Donald Trump represents so much of why I'm running. Youngkin has said he's honored to have Donald Trump's endorsement. In fact, Trump has endorsed him not once, not twice, but 3 times he's endorsed him. So you got to ask yourself, why is it that Glenn Youngkin and Donald Trump are so close? Because they share the same agenda. And you better believe that that agenda is completely out of touch with Virginians. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start at the beginning of Glenn's campaign. He launched his campaign on an election integrity plan that was based on Donald Trump's conspiracy theory about the 2020 election. And for 5 months, that is the only plan that he had on his website. He called it the most important issue. So folks, let me say this tonight. I am going to clear it all up for you. Joe Biden won that election fair and square. Right? Thank you. And then, listen to this, folks. Then, just a few weeks ago, we saw a shocking video in which Glenn Youngkin admits behind closed doors what he really wants to do as governor. He was caught on tape saying that when he gets elected governor, he will go on the offense and he will defund Planned Parenthood and ban abortions in Virginia. Folks, we've seen this playbook before. When I was governor, Trump, Youngkin-style Republicans tried to shut down every single one of our health care facilities for women, every single one of them, all 16. And then they tried to defund Planned Parenthood. Bill after bill came to my desk. Well, let me tell you this. I vetoed those bills. I stopped them before. I'll stop them again. And I promise you, I will be a brick wall to protect women's rights here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. But the worst part of the video, the worst part, Glenn Youngkin is caught on tape admitting that he's lying to the voters. He says on the tape that he can't tell the voters his real agenda because if he does, he will lose the election. His words. And you know what? This is what people hate about politicians, lying directly to their face. I will always tell you the truth. And let's take the economy. Glenn Youngkin lies about the Virginia economy all the time, every day. You know what he says? He says that we're in a ditch. Really, a ditch. Well, Governor Northam and I, we could give this private equity guy a little facts about economics, because guess what? Just last week, Virginia was just named the top state in America for business for the second year in a row, and the only state to get it twice. So now what's Glenn going to talk about? It's with lies like that, it is no surprise that Glenn Youngkin is the first candidate in 36 years to refuse to debate his opponent at the Virginia Bar Association. Think of that. Folks, Glenn Youngkin is scared to debate me. He is a chicken. Glenn, I'll debate you anywhere you want, anytime you want. Let's go. But so instead of me debating tomorrow, which has gone on for 36 years, I'm standing here before you tonight to tell you about my plans to move Virginia forward. As we did before, we will create great jobs, we'll make health care more affordable, and we'll give every single child a world-class education. But I need your help. The election is just over 100 days away. Between now and November 2nd, I need your help. I need you to work every single day and night. Sleep is way overrated. I need you in the game because together, all of us, like we did before and we've done for the last 8 years, we can take Virginia to the next level. We're going to do it with the help of my good friend of 40 years. You know who's going to help us? Joe Biden. And let me say this. Since Joe Biden was sworn in on January 20th, President Biden has been hard at work getting our country and our economy back on track. Thanks to his efforts and the governor's here, we've gotten over 9 million shots in the arms of Virginians, keeping them safe. The American Rescue Plan, every Virginian should know this. The American Rescue Plan has injected new life into our economy, keeping small businesses afloat and providing more than $3 billion in funding for our Virginia schools. And think of this. Right now, the families of 1.5 million children in Virginia are now receiving a little extra help. And that's all thanks to Joe Biden's child tax credit. Thank you, Mr. President. So let me just say this. What did my opponent, Glenn Youngkin, have to say about the American Rescue Plan? Get this. You know what he called it? Unnecessary. Well, I got to tell you, I can't think of anything more necessary than having a president and a governor who are committed to investing and lifting up all Virginians, making sure our children get the best quality education, strengthening our economy. That's what we can do. And I want to tell you this. President Biden has always been a great friend to Virginia. As vice president, he was a huge ally with me. He leaned in on the critical issues. He worked with me when I saved the Port of Virginia. Together, we announced at Norfolk State a $25 million cybersecurity initiative for historically black colleges and universities. And when I needed help to unclog all of these Virginia roads, who did I call? Joe Biden. And he helped me secure the largest transportation loan in the history of the United States of America. And he worked with me as we made Virginia the first state in America to functionally end veteran homelessness. So, folks, he's been there for us time and time again. And can you imagine what we can get done for Virginia as Joe Biden as president and I'm back as governor? Let me tell you, folks, This state is going to take off like a booster rocket. Let me tell you that, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, our president, Joe Biden.
Hello, Virginia. It's so great to be back. First off, it goes without saying how much I appreciate your current governor, Ralph Northam, by the way. Because of the hard work of the American people, we put ourselves in a position for us to control the virus instead of it controlling us. Here in Virginia, COVID-19 deaths and hospitalizations are down 90% since January. 54% of your population has been fully vaccinated. 82% of your seniors, both of which are above the national average. But this didn't happen by itself. It's due to the heroic vaccination program, one of the greatest, most complex operational challenges in American history. It happens when we all work together, the federal government, states, cities, the private sector, and all Americans. Look, it happens when you have governors like Ralph, who've been a key partner, coordinating FEMA and the National Guard to move personnel and resources around the state to get shots in arms. It happens when you're honest with people. You know, I know folks are watching the number of cases rising again and are wondering what it means for them. Well, here's the truth. If you're fully vaccinated, you're safer with a higher degree of protection. But if you're not vaccinated, you are not protected. And now, what we have now is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. And by the way, you know that old expression, you notice a lot of our very conservative friends have finally had an altar call. They've seen the Lord, whether it's on Fox News or whether it's the most conservative commentators or governors. Thank God the governor of Alabama had one of the lowest vaccination rates in the country, is now, and I'm genuinely complimenting her. That's okay, that's all right. That's all right. No. Let him talk. No, look. First. That's okay. Look, this is not a Trump rally. Let him holler. No one's paying attention. Look, here's the point. Virtually all the COVID-19 deaths and hospitalizations are today among the unvaccinated people. And I know this has gotten a bit politicized, but I hope it's starting to change. It's not about red states or blue states or guys like that hollering. It's about life and it's about death. And I know Governor Northam is going to work like the devil to finish the job. Thank you, Gov. And look, and of course, it's great to be another great friend. It's been around, I've been around a long time, and I've seldom do I get to campaign for someone who I've agreed with more on basically everything. We go back all the way to roots in Syracuse, New York. I'm talking about, and before that, I'm actually talking about Dorothy. Her roots don't go there, but look, She's always been there for me and Jill when we've needed her most. She was an incredible First Lady of Virginia, and she will be again. She is the very best. And Dorothy, speaking of First Ladies, I'm Jill's husband. Jill wanted to be here tonight, but if you turn on the Olympics and watch Team USA, you'll see Jill Biden stand there cheering with them. The Japanese Prime Minister, who, as I invited him, the first person to come to the White House, head of state, he made it real clear. He didn't want me, he wanted her to go. He is a man of incredible judgment. Look, folks, now, of course, it's great to be with my friend and your once and future governor, Terry McAuliffe. I mean this. Think about this. You got it. You're not going to find anyone, I mean anyone, who knows how to get more done for Virginia than Terry. That's a fact. You don't have to wonder what kind of governor Terry will be. You know what kind of governor he was and what kind of governor he'll be again. He was a great governor of Virginia, and he'll be even greater this time because he even has more going for him. And Virginia, you got to elect him again. You got to elect him again. And I mean this, not just for Virginia, but for the country. The country's looking. He's off your elections, the country's looking. This is a big deal. Terry and I share a lot in common. I ran against Donald Trump, and so is Terry. And I whipped Donald Trump in Virginia, and so will Terry. I tell you what, the guy Terry's running against is an acolyte of Donald Trump, for real. I mean, it's just like, I don't know where these guys come from. I really mean it. But above all, Terry, we share the same vision about delivering results. And maybe most importantly, why we got involved in politics in the first place. The very wealthy, and I respect anybody who makes a lot of money. You should be able to be a millionaire or a billionaire, whatever you want, as long as you pay your fair share. But here's the deal. They don't need me to protect them. I got involved in politics because of the neighborhood I came from, the towns I came from. Scranton and Claymont, Delaware, a little steel town. Delivering results for hard-working people who, if you just give them a chance, just a chance, they never have let the country down. You know, I really mean that. That's not hyperbole. I really mean it. Just, you look, I've been in office now for 6 months as of a couple days ago. And I think the administration has a lot to be proud of. We vaccinated over 160 million Americans. We've created over 3 million new jobs, more than any administration has in the first 6 months in entire presidential history. Never has it happened before. We eliminated what we're now estimated to be on track. The economy not growing before the recession, before COVID, said the economy would grow by 3.5%. Now everything from the OECD to all of Wall Street suggests that we're going to grow this economy 7% just this year. That is the highest growth in more than 4 decades in America. In fact, it's the best job growth in the world right now. And in just the past few weeks, one of the biggest tax cuts in the history for families in America with kids went into effect this last week. I've been saying, I really mean this. It's about time ordinary, hardworking people get a tax break. Because that's what it is. Parents are seeing that money go into their bank accounts right now. And let me tell you what's going to mean for Americans. We're going to cut child poverty in half this year because of that. Look, Terry and I share the same basic truth. Trickle-down economies never work. It's time to build the economy from the bottom up and the middle out. That's what we are. And by the way, the wealthy have never done poorly when the middle class and working class people do well. They do well. Look, Terry understands that it started with the American Rescue Plan that's delivering immediate relief to the folks who needed it most. Folks are on the back of on their heels, a lot of them knocked down. Those rescue checks that went out to more than 80% of the adults and children in Virginia that provide a little extra breathing room for people. My dad used to say, and I really mean this, my dad used to say, Joey, a job's about more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about your place in the community. It's about just having Joey, and I mean this sincerely, when he lost everything in Scranton and we moved to Delaware. He said, Joey, it's about a little breathing room. That's all people are asking for. There's a little bit of breathing room, a little extra room. Look, aid for small businesses. That helps them hire and reopen their doors. I'm looking, here it is. Excuse me. Aid to cities and counties to keep their police officers and firefighters and first responders on the job, educators on the job. The American Rescue Plan lowered health insurance premiums for those buying into the Affordable Care Act by 40% on average, saving people $600 a year. And Terry knows the work continues, that health care should be a right, just not a privilege, folks. And as I said when I was running, with Terry and Dorothy's help, it's not enough to build back. I mean this sincerely. America is the only nation in the world, when it's faced a crisis, has come back stronger than before the crisis. Only one. I'm not joking. We have to build back and build back better. It's amazing how that phrase has caught on around the world, isn't it? But Terry and I know, along with Mark Warner and Tim Kaine and Don Beyer and Abby Settlenberg, who are working on this in Congress, it means modernizing our physical infrastructure. Folks, we used to invest more than any country in the world in research and development. And we had the #1 infrastructure in the world, the best roads, highways, airports, ports. Infrastructure about rebuilding roads and bridges, replacing lead pipes that are poisoning our kids in the water system, delivering high-speed internet to every single Virginian, rural and urban, making sure buy American, so when we invest in the jobs, when we purchase all this, that American workers are doing the work. It's not that complicated. It really isn't if you fight for it. Terry and I share the belief that building back better means investing and also in our human infrastructure. You know, that's my plan. It includes all the things Terry's fighting for. Terry and I believe that when we educate our children earlier, they do better. They do better. No, by the way, no matter what background they come from, all the studies at the great universities in this state and others have, in the last 8 years, have pointed out that if a kid goes to not daycare but preschool, beginning at age 3, they increase by 58% the possibility of going all the way through school and on to community college. That's why we support universal pre-K for 3 and 4 years old. And Terry, if I get it done, y'all aren't going to have to pay for it here in Virginia. And look, we believe 12 years of education is not enough to compete in the 21st century economy. That's why I want to make 2-year community colleges available to every single American. And we can afford to do this. I do have one concern. My wife, Jill, is teaching full-time still as a community college professor. and First Ladies. But Terry's going to be your boss again. Because she teaches at, Northern Virginia Community College. And by the way, Terry, since the time she started working there, she's never stopped teaching. When we got elected, she thought that she was going to continue to teach. She thought I may object. I strongly supported it. Teaching is not what my wife does. It's who she is. And folks, look, the fact is that the idea that we are able to bring together people to give them great opportunities is totally within, look, we can afford to do this. We can afford to do this if the very wealthy just start paying their fair share just a little bit. Terry and I know how hard the pandemic has been on working families, especially women. About 2 million women are still unable to go back into the workforce during this pandemic due to things like not being able to afford child care. Look, when I got elected to the United States Senate, I was 29 years old. Between the time I got elected and before I was sworn in, there was an automobile accident. My wife and daughter were killed. And my 2 boys almost died. And by the way, I thank all firefighters because it took the jaws of life 3 hours to get them out from on top of their dead mom and dead sister. You saved their lives. And I needed help. I was a senator making $42,000 a year. I could no longer afford daycare and someone to take care of my kids, then fly. And thank God I have a sister who's my best friend, who she and her husband, without my asking, moved in and helped me raise my kids, my mom and my brother as well. I got lucky. But look, the idea as a single mom or a single dad working and having young children, it's awful hard. That's why Terry and I want to expand paid leave and child care in this country. And by the way, Terry, you and I have been talking about this for a long time. We've been talking about high drug prices, how incredibly high they are and how we keep getting ripped off. You know, we pay more for drugs than any major country in the world. But here's the deal. There's a way to do it. Let Medicare negotiate drug prices. And guess what? All the prices are going to come down. And it will pay for itself. I promise you I'm going to get that done. Look, and here's the deal. Terry, I know this can be paid for. Look, we support asking the wealthiest 1% who got that $2 trillion tax cut that, in fact, not a single penny was paid for, the so-called Trump tax cut. And guess what? Just begin to pay their fair share. Corporate America. I come from the corporate capital of the world. More corporations are, in fact, registered in Delaware than every other state in the union combined. I got elected 36 years there because I was honest with them. Look, right today, 50 of the biggest corporations in America, of the Fortune 500, 50 of them don't pay, and this is not exaggeration, check it out, not a single solitary penny in federal taxes, not one. And they made over 40, but I'm not doing this to get that right, I just want to make it clear to you. Here's the deal, they made over $40 billion. If they just paid a minimum tax of 15%, they'd raise the dollars all we need to do all this education we're talking about here. Look, you know, when I was vice president, the president asked me to check out what the major corporations needed the most. Along with the Secretary of Commerce, we interviewed 300, I think it was 56, could have been 46, but over 350 CEOs of major corporations. You know what they all said? I need a better educated workforce. Well, guess what? They're not spending any money to educate the workforce. But if we want to make sure America succeeds and runs the world again, economically runs it, meaning being the most powerful economy in the world, we should make sure that they have a chance these millionaires and billionaires. I'm not one of these guys that say you shouldn't be able to be a millionaire or billionaire. But just pay your fair share. Look, all told, experts from the World Bank to outfits like Wall Street and on Wall Street like Moody's estimate that my plan will grow the economy and create 2 million more jobs over the 16 million they said in 10 years we create. Good paying jobs. Good paying jobs. A significant amount of these jobs will pay the prevailing wage of 30, 40, 50 bucks an hour. 90% of the jobs in our infrastructure plan go to people without a college degree. Folks, we're proposing a blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America. A once-in-a-generation investment in American jobs and families that's going to position us to win the competition of the 21st century. But we've got to get it done. And I need a partner like Terry, who not only is respected in this state, but respected by governors all across America, who knows how to get it done in the states. Folks, on his watch as governor last time, the Virginia economy boomed. 200,000 jobs created. Unemployment went down in every single county, including rural Virginia, by nearly 50%. He attracted major companies to this state. Look how your state grew. And by the way, you know, any of you who are in the business know the first thing you try to attract a company to come to your city, your state, your town, first thing they ask is, what's the highway system? Will I have access to an interstate? Is the port available? Tell me whether or not I have broadband. Tell me whether or not, all the things we're going to build. You know, look, Terry worked with Republicans to invest in education, transportation, and workforce development. And by the way, Virginia has a whole bunch of veterans and active duty military members, more than almost any state. And guess what? The American Rescue Plan marked one of the biggest investments in veterans' health in a long, long time. We'll upgrade VA hospitals that are 50 years old, reduce the shortages of doctors and nurses. No veteran, from my son who passed away on, should pick up a phone and say, or have a wife or husband call and say, I need help, and say, we can't see you for a while. We owe them immediate action. Immediate. It's a sacred obligation. And I know no governor who stood up for our veterans and military families more than this guy, helping them apply their skills to good-paying civilian jobs, fields like cybersecurity and health care. He also worked with the General Assembly to find 2 new veteran care centers, including the first one in Hampton Roads region, which is hard to believe. Terry understands. He knows. He knows also about crime prevention as a top priority. He understands how important it is to find funding from the American Rescue Plan to provide law enforcement personnel with more resources, not fewer resources. Look, we need to help them in a lot of ways. We need to do away with chokeholds and all those things, I agree, but on the side of this is we need them to have more social workers, more veterans, more psychological help, more psychologists. And where it happens, it works. Personnel and resources to keep communities safe, and he has taken on the gun lobby to enact sensible gun safety measures without infringing on anybody's Second Amendment right, including keeping guns out of the hands of domestic abusers. Here's what else. Terry's going to guarantee he's going to move to get a $15 minimum wage. Think about it, folks. Just think about it. And maybe some of you, maybe you know people. Anybody working 40 hours a week, making less than $15 an hour, is in fact living in poverty as defined by poverty in America. It should not happen, period. Period. An amazing number of American people who are struggling have rental costs and housing costs that are at least 30 to 35% of their total income. How do you do that? How do you make it, especially if you have a child? Look, folks, housing that's affordable to everybody is going to be in this plan. And like me, when Terry thinks about the climate crisis, he thinks three things: jobs, jobs, jobs. It is the reason why we're going to lead the world. Let me close with this. I'm sorry I'm getting kind of wrapped up in this. I need him. I need him. Look, in this election and in 2022, the question the American people are going to be asking is whether or not we're helping them and their families. Not giving them anything. Are we giving them a shot? Just giving them an even shot. Do we understand what they're going through? Can we deliver for them? As Democrats, we have to show we do understand, and we're delivering for them, and we're keeping our promises. We just have to keep making the case. Just as the Republican Party today offers nothing but fear, lies, and broken promises. No, listen, I mean, think about it. Turning on the television every day and seeing a replay what happened on January 6th and saying, I was told there were a lot of peaceful, wonderful people. God, no, I really mean to think about it. It is bizarre. We have to keep cutting through the Republican fog that government is the problem and show that we, the people, are the solution. We're the most unique country. So think about this. We're the most unique country in the history of the world. Not a joke. Every other country is put together based on race, religion, ethnicity, background, except the United States. The United States is based on the only country in the world based on the proposition that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all women and men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. We've never met the test, but we've never walked away from it like the Republicans have. We have never walked away. And we keep, every administration, we keep moving that needle further and further. Look, folks, we're going to have to go out and win this thing, win races up and down the ticket. We got to protect your majority in the House of Delegates. We got to reelect Mark as the Attorney General. We got to reelect Hala as your Lieutenant Governor. We got to elect Terry back as governor. He's been here before. He knows what to do. He knows how to get things done. Virginia, we did it in 2020. In the battle for the soul of America, the people voted. Democracy prevailed. The Constitution held. And we have to do this again. I've said time and again, no matter what, you can never stop the American people from voting, and they're trying like hell. We have to decide. The power must always be with the people. 50, I promise you this, 50 years from now, our children and grandchildren will look back and know that it was at this moment America won the 21st century again. And it starts now. Virginia, it starts with Terry. It starts with you. God bless you all, and may God protect our truth. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.